Good afternoon from Sacred Space. So, quick random weird thing of the day. There's been a few random weird things happen in the last few days that were delightful but weird. So, today's random weird thing was I was sitting outside and grounding. I sit on this, it's actually one of the dog's cushions that he never uses. So I was sitting on this like big dog bed cushion type thing, and it's next to this little side table where I have my cup of tea and I sit with the bird and I watch YouTube videos or movies or whatever, and I sit out there and I enjoy myself. So I was sitting out there this morning, which was really like a late morning because I had really bad insomnia last night and only had a few hours sleep. So I slept till 11 this morning. And so I'm out there and I was watching like a Ghost Adventures type. It wasn't Ghost Adventures, but it was just some other ghost show where they're doing paranormal investigations at a castle called Whittington Castle or Willington Castle, something like that. Anyway, obviously in England. And so we're sitting there and Charlie, my rainbow lorikeet's on the table in front of me, and I'm sort of listening to the show and watching her focusing on me kind of thing, trying to get my attention. Anyway, it was the cutest thing, but it was also really quite surreal. So there's a person in the ghost show, and she's talking about a spirit that's in the castle, and she says the volume's up quite loud, and she says, "Oh yes," she says, "the spirit tells me that her station was she used to be a servant, and one of her jobs was she used to pluck feathers out of ducks all day." And Charlie did this little shiver like of horror. It looked like horror, and I'm thinking I'm anthropomorphizing, but the timing was just so weird. She did this little shiver because she pulls out her own feathers, and she did this little look of shock, and then turned to my iPhone and leant over and went, which she does when she doesn't approve of something. She hisses like a cat. So she actually hissed at the voice of the woman saying, "Oh yes, she used to pluck feathers from ducks all day long." So the context of my bird in that exact moment going, and then at the ghost show, it was surreal. It cracked me up, but it was also a bit weird. Like, I'm sure there's an ordinary, explanation. It's not like Charlie can understand perfect English, but she probably understood the feathers part, but she couldn't possibly have understood the part about plucking feathers all day. And but it was just so the timing was priceless, right? It was like there's a movement in the force. My bird understands what's going on my YouTube video. So for a moment I just looked at her and I went, "What are you doing, Charlie?" And then she went to me as well to say, "Fuck off. You're not plucking my feathers." Anyway, it was the funniest thing. She's out there listening to us as we speak. She is funny. She's highly intelligent, actually. So she probably understood the word feathers, and just responded, but it was just so weird. Anyway, so that was a weird thing that happened today. But, like, weird but cute. Weird but cute but lovely, but weird. It sort of spun me out for a minute. It was like, what's going on? Do. CERN has clashed all the particles together, and now we've interfered with the dimensions. And now my bird speaks perfect English and understands what's going on in YouTube videos. Even though she wasn't technically watching it, she could hear what's going on, right? I felt a little bit haunted, quite frankly. I'm fluffing my hair because I've washed it this morning. Well, my morning, which was after lunch, and I haven't brushed it yet. So I'm feeling funny. Anyway, so that was today's funny story. Today is the 25th of July, 2022, a Monday. So there was that. So yesterday, Sunday, the 24th of July, the really spooky, weird thing that happened, well, it's not so much spooky, but it was unusual, is I made a little video about that too. Out here, I don't know if you can see it through the mesh, is a little, it's faded out now, a little terracotta bell that I made, and it's next to that glass jar. Well, I made lanterns out of glass jars. Anyway, so no one touches that bell normally. No one, none of the animals. No one has had any interest in it at all. And I sort of put it out there kind of because I've got bells all over the house for the fairies, right? Because fairies like bells, apparently. And you know, bells are good energy anyway, for clearing energy and raising vibrations. So I figured it can't hurt. We'll keep the fairies happy and we'll also raise our vibrations, right? So this old little bell I made out of a terracotta little tiny pot, it's been sitting out there for years. So I'm sitting here at the desk yesterday, and there'd been a kookaburra. He'd been around all day, this beautiful kookaburra. All day he'd been around the garden, and of course my dog chases him away, usually. So he's been a right little pest. And in the morning I actually said to Beauregard, leave the frickin' kookaburra alone. Like, this is a sacred space, and every living creature that comes here needs to feel safe. This is why I declared it sacred space. It's our sanctuary and our happy place and our garden. And, you know, I don't want Bobo attacking the birds that aren't actually doing anything wrong, right? You know, like, I did get him at one stage to chase the bush turkeys away because I didn't want them building a mound, because in those days I had pussycats, and the cats used to wait till the babies were ready to hatch, and they were just picking them off one by one. So I thought that was awful. So I discouraged the bush turkeys from breeding here anymore, which they did for about 5 years. And so they haven't bred here the last 2 years, which is good. You know, good for the babies. Hopefully they're all right somewhere else. Anyway, so but he still does chase the scrub turkeys when they come. But he had a set against this lovely big fat kookaburra. And I encourage the kookaburras. I even fill up this little pond for them in summer. It's not really a pond, but it's like a little spa bath. And I fill it up in summer for them to have a swim in. And in really hot days, I sometimes get in it and sit in it myself, you know, because I don't have a swimming pool here, because, you know, I'm poor. Fuck that shit. But anyway, I've been known to get in my sarong and sit in the bird bath that I designate for the birds. Usually, I mean, I clean it first, duh, but, you know. Anyway, so the funny thing was, Kookaburra was looking down at the pond with great disapproval because it's empty, because it's winter time, and I haven't filled it up because I thought, well, they're not going to be swimming now, it's too bloody cold, you know. But he was looking down, maybe he was thirsty, but he was looking down, looking at the empty little spa bath, like, you know, why is there no water? It probably felt like a bath, you know. Such a beautiful day today and yesterday. I could have filled it up for him, let him have a bit of a swim, but anyway, I didn't fill it up. So anyway, Bobo spent the afternoon, most of it on and off throughout the day, chasing Cookie away, and I was getting really cranky about that. Because I like the kookaburra. The kookaburra sometimes sits on top of the cage and stares at Charlie, and he doesn't hurt her. Like, they're just so respectful, I think, because she smells weird. She smells of humans, and she used to smell of cats too. My cats have all passed away, God help us, but, you know, she smells of dog and human, and she's just a strange, half her feathers are gone, but she plucks them, and she's a weird looking bird, so the wild birds get there and don't know what to do with her, you know. And when they get too close, I chase them away because I don't want them hurting my bird, right? And I've said to the crows, do not attack my bird. And they used to sort of gather around and psych her out, you know. But I'm so grateful, none of them have ever tried to hurt her. But I was worried about the kookaburra because they've got massive, long, strong beaks, right? And if they wanted to snap a neck, they just have to go crunch and she'd be a goner. So there was one afternoon, And it's funny, Bobo, being a dog, could probably hear it, you know, or it might have been intuition because I couldn't hear anything. But I have to factor in the fact that dogs have more, you know, amazing hearing. So he went running to the back door, and I was like, what the fuck? So I went running to the back door, and we just stood at the back door, and there was this massive big kookaburra sitting on top of Charlie's cage, just staring at her, and they were beat to beat with this. Like, it was really cute. Charlie wasn't the least bit afraid because rainbow lorikeets are notoriously aggressive, you know, like when they fly in flocks. Most other birds give them stay away. They look like psychedelic clowns, right, because they're all rainbow coloured and sweet, but they're actually quite aggressive birds. But her being on her own, I thought, oh, she's cactus, she's history, she's gonna die, you know. But no, this lovely kookaburra just had a little chat to her, and I don't know. I mean, it was all done by telepathy. There were no tweeting or twitterings, and that's how I knew. This was, you know, a couple of years ago now. That's how I knew that they weren't going to ever harm her. You know, the kookaburras do sit up on top of the Hills Hoist washing line and stare down, or they sit up above her head sometimes, but they don't harm her, which, you know, is wonderful, and I'm so grateful for. So anyway, I digress. But yesterday what happened was I was just sitting here and I was reading actually something on, I think something in my emails or some nonsense, nothing terribly important. And I was sort of reading and I sort of felt like something was watching me, and I thought, oh, you know, I get a little bit paranoid sometimes because all my neighbours watch me, that, you know, think I'm weird, you know, because the little witch sitting all on her own without a partner and sacred space. Occasionally I'm talking to the birds, and sometimes I'm talking to the dog, sometimes I'm talking to the spirits, so, you know, they think I'm nuts, but that's okay, I don't mind. They can think whatever they like. So anyway, I hear this ting, ting, and like it's not a very loud chime, it's like ding, ding, you know, and I thought, oh, that sounds like a bell. Anyway, I looked out the window, and there was the big fat kookaburra literally pecking at the terracotta bell, making it go ting, ting, ting. And that's amazing because he's never done it. Oh, can you hear him? I'm talking about him, and he's laughing. So anyway, he was like tinging the bell, and I was watching. And so I grabbed my iPhone and I started filming him, because by the time I turned my camera on, he'd stopped pecking at the bell and stopped ringing it, which is the bit I wanted to capture, right, for YouTube and for Instagram, because it was the cutest thing I've ever seen. Like, you know, I know like pet birds like bells, but I've never seen a kookaburra come to the garden and play with the bell before. So I start filming this cookie, and he was conscious by this time that I was looking at him and filming him. So he just sat on the branch looking really proud and staring back at me. And then at exactly the same moment, I saw my neighbour from down the road coming down with his little dog, Coco. Coco just adores me. And so we have this ritual where whenever he comes past, or, you know, his partner, you know, used to come past, they'd stop and I cuddle Coco, and Coco loves her Auntie Tanya. So I'm filming the bird, and I'm actually trying to kind of ignore Peter a little bit because I was really focused on filming this beautiful kookaburra. But then I looked over, and little Coco had just stopped right directly opposite my window here, and was like stopped next to the fence. It was just looking at me like this, waiting for a cuddle. And it was the sweetest thing. So I said, oh no, you can hear me in the video going, oh no, I've just got to. I can't not cuddle her, because it's like, she expects it, right? So anyway, I went out, and because by the time I came out and cuddled Coco and had a chat to Peter, Kookaburra had flown away. But look, that was just really magical. And then I realised, as I was writing about it on Facebook later, I realised Coco and Cookie, the kookaburra, at the same time, in the same space-time continuum, were demanding my attention. So it was really sweet. So anyway, I decided that I'm going to go and buy a stainless steel bell, because the reason being, hopefully it won't rust and it won't be dangerous for the bird to peck at. And I'll probably hang it next to the little terracotta bell, since it came for that, and see if it plays with the stainless steel bell. I'm actually really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to sitting here and having a nice kookaburra bird come over and ring my bells. And as I said in my video yesterday, it's a bit weird that the only thing that rings my bell these days are birds. But never mind. There's a reason for that. I had too many disappointments in love. But yeah, actually I might buy 2 stainless steel bells, because I might get one for Charlie to put in her cage as well. So anyway, that's my story. I just thought it was so cute, Charlie responding to the voice, the person narrating in the ghost show, about the servant girl that was plucking the ducks, and she went just cracked me up for some mad reason. Anyway, take care, have a beautiful day. Greetings from Brisbane and Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. Tanya Aarons. Bye bye, love you all.